Hi, welcome. In the previous video, I have given you all the necessary introductions before getting into further explanations on magnetic field. We learned how a magnetic field is generated, what could be the direction of magnetic field, what could be the strength of the magnetic field, how to define magnetic field intensity, how to define magnetic flux density, all this. But the base of our explanation was a bar magnet. But as already told to you, the different sources of magnetic field, right? We discussed that. So our area of interest is basically steady magnetic field, or the magnetic field which is produced due to direct current. So before getting into today's topic, that is Biot-Savart's law, I just want to make you aware how the magnetic field will look like when it is produced due to direct current. So as you can see on the screen, there is a current carrying conductor. So current is that current carrying conductor is kept vertical. If you connect it with your Cartesian coordinate system, I can say that current is flowing in Z direction. Then by applying thumb rule, basically right hand thumb rule, I can say that if thumb represents the direction of the current, then the remaining four fingers, the direction of the remaining four fingers folding, okay, the folding direction of remaining four fingers will represent the direction of magnetic field. It's very clear from the figure, right? So the image itself is self-explanatory, but still I'll explain it again. I'm going to apply right hand thumb rule. You can use your right hand in front of the screen and you can try, so that you will remember, okay, teach your brain what will be the direction. If the current is flowing in the direction of thumb, please hold your palm facing you, right hand palm facing you, and imagine that the current is flowing upwards, that is in the thumb direction. Then you try to fold your finger, so the fingers will be towards you, will be folding towards you. And if you can further take your finger, which is not possible practically, but the direction of the magnetic field is represented by that folding finger direction. That means the magnetic field will be around the conductor. So there is conventional idea of direction of magnetic field like into the paper, out of the paper, all that. So I will not get into that now. I am not going to confuse you. Okay, just remember that magnetic field will be around the conductor, So this will be the basic reference for us. We'll be always considering current flowing in a conductor towards positive z axis, and our xy plane will represent direction of the magnetic field. Okay, now coming to Biot-Savart's law. To explain Biot-Savart's law, or to consider Biot-Savart's law, I am considering a conductor which is carrying a direct current, and a steady, obviously you know that when I have a conductor which is carrying direct current, there will be a steady magnetic field produced by it around the conductor, right? Just now we explained. Then how to evaluate magnetic field intensity at any point around the conductor? This evaluation can be done using Biot-Savart's law. So basically Biot-Savart's law is applicable for finding magnetic field intensity at a point somewhere around this current carrying conductor. So to explain that scenario, let us consider a very small part of a current carrying conductor. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, I have already drawn the figure for you. The red color is the actual conductor carrying current I in the direction shown. Okay, now to explain Saward's law, I will be considering a small portion of that conductor of differential length dl. I will consider it as a vector, so dl vector. Okay, then I can say that a differential current element is I dl. Okay, so the current carried by this differential element dl is also will be I, correct? Conductor size, if it is small, also the current flowing through that is same because it is steady current. So I can say that this is a differential current element given by IDL. Okay, I can represent it as something like this. So differential current element can be represented as IDL. Okay, now I need to find magnetic field intensity at a point P, which is a little far from this conductor, and let me take that this is at a distance r, okay, capital R from the conductor, and I can consider it as a vector also if I consider the direction towards P. So I write it as R vector. So R vector represents the vector joining dl and P, or capital R represents the distance from my differential current element to the point P where I need to calculate magnetic field intensity. Okay, so I have joined a line to find it, and one more important point here is the line which I have joined to find to point P to find field intensity makes some angle with the conductor. Okay, so that angle is measured as theta. That angle is measured as theta. I hope this figure is crystal clear. Okay, crystal clear. Then with this circuit, with this idea, I can easily state Biot-Savart's law. So the statement of Biot-Savart's law goes like this. Biot-Savart's law states that at any point P, the magnitude of magnetic field intensity produced by the differential element is proportional to the product of current, magnitude of differential length, and sine of angle lying between the element and line connecting the element to point P, which is our theta, okay, sine of theta, at which the field is decided, also inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the elemental length and point P. Even though the statement looks very lengthy, the catchy point here is the magnetic field intensity is directly proportional to a product of some terms, product of current, length and sine of angle, and inversely proportional to square of distance. So mathematically I can write it as magnitude of dH vector. Magnetic field intensity is given by H vector, but here we are talking about differential current element, so it should be differential H. So whatever I am calculating is not magnetic field intensity due to the entire conductor, it is only due to a small portion of the conductor. Keeping that in mind, I represent H vector as dH vector, and Biot-Savart's law explains you magnitude, so I have to represent it as a magnitude. So since H is a vector, I take magnitude of it, I represent it magnitude of it, okay, while writing mathematically, expressing mathematically. So dH vector magnitude is directly proportional to current, okay, I have current I, magnitude of differential length, that is nothing dl, so we consider as dl vector, but I need here only magnitude, okay, so magnitude is dl, and sine of angle lying between the element and line connecting, so that is nothing but theta, as you can see in the figure. So I dl sine theta, and it is inversely proportional to square of distance. R is taken as the distance, or you can write it as R vector magnitude square also, both are same. So I dl sine theta by R square. But mathematically we cannot write any equation as a proportionality, right, because it doesn't become an equation. If you equate only, it will become equation. Now it is an expression, it's a mathematical expression. So I need to write Biot-Savart's law as a mathematical equation. So when I do that, I have to consider some proportionality constant, so that the statement will remain same even though I convert it as an equation. So let us see how to write Biot-Savart's law as an equation. So when we write it as an equation, dH vector magnitude can be written as k ideal, where k is proportionality constant, so k ideal sin theta by r square, and k is given a value 1 by 4 pi. Okay, the proportionality constant is considered to be 1 by 4 pi. It is anyway a constant value. So dH vector is equal to, just substitute k equal to 1 by 4 pi, so I get ideal sin theta by 4 pi r square. So this is mathematical expression of Biot-Savart's law as per the statement. In the sense, I am just calculating the magnitude of magnetic field intensity at a point due to differential current element. But what if I need to represent magnetic field intensity in its actual form, because you know that magnetic field intensity is a vector. So if I need dH vector instead of dH vector magnitude, so how I am going to write it? So see here, I have written on the top ideal sin theta. Okay, so as I told you initially, while drawing the figure itself, dl is differential length, which can be written as dl vector, and the direction. Okay, so this is r vector, this is r vector. So unit vector in the direction of r vector can be written as a r cap. So considering these two, keeping these two in mind, dl is dl vector and direction towards point P is a r cap. I can write dl vector cross a r cap as magnitude of dl. What I am doing? Yeah, I am applying cross product, rule of cross product. So dl cross a r cap is magnitude of dl, magnitude of a r cap sin theta, angle between them. Okay, so now come back to this equation. So what I am basically doing is you concentrate on the numerator part. So this numerator part, okay, dl sin theta, this dl sin theta part, I can write it as dl is same as dl vector magnitude. Agree? Correct? And sin theta as it is sin theta, and this can be considered as dl vector magnitude sin theta multiplied by 1, because that doesn't change. And this one is nothing but magnitude of an unit vector. Magnitude of unit vector is 1. So let me consider that this 1 is nothing but magnitude of a r cap. So if I do that adjustment, see, my numerator now becomes dl vector magnitude a r cap vector magnitude sin theta, which is same as this, see here. So if I slightly adjust this with respect to the direction of the line joining differential current element and point P, where I need to find magnetic field intensity, because representing magnetic field intensity as a vector means you have to consider the direction. So if I consider that direction, it is a r cap. So that a r cap effect, if I bring into this numerator, I can write the numerator easily as dl vector magnitude a r cap vector magnitude sin theta. I explained this here how it is. Now what is this? This is nothing but cross product of dl vector and a r cap. So considering this, I can rewrite this equation as a vector representation, because now I have a r cap. This is just a magnitude, there is no direction here. So if I multiply this equation by a r cap, I am going to get the vector representation. That way also you can think about it. Either way, okay, either this way or the other way. So I just multiply this by a r cap. I understand that I am measuring h vector along P. So that direction is along r vector, a r cap direction. So if I consider the direction here, then dH vector magnitude becomes dH vector. Okay, and by applying cross product rule, I can now write this equation as dH vector I dl cross ar cap divided by 4 pi r square. And I also know that ar cap is nothing but that vector divided by magnitude of that vector, that is its actual vector is r vector, ar cap represents the direction along r vector, so r vector divided by magnitude of r vector. So substituting that back to this equation, I can write dH in a different form in terms of r vector, capital R vector, as ideal cross r vector divided by 4 pi r cube. Nice. So this is another way of representing it. So this tells you that dH vector is normal to the plane of the paper. Okay, it means basically perpendicular to the plane of the paper, since direction of dl vector cross ar cap is normal to the plane containing two vectors, right? As per the rules of cross product, when you cross product two vectors, the resultant vector will be perpendicular to the plane containing dl and ar. Okay, if you are not remembering this, please revisit cross product explanation, that video, that discussion, and make sure that you are not confused. Okay, what I am trying to say, dl, my dH vector will be in a direction of perpendicular of this, right? dH vector will be perpendicular to this, the direction. So dH vector will be perpendicular to this, and this is my current carrying conductor, correct, I. This is my current carrying conductor I. So if the direction of dH vector is normal, so will be perpendicular to the plane of the paper, means as we explained, it will be around this, it will be obviously around this, but as we look into, you can say that it is perpendicular to the paper, normal to the paper. Either it is coming and hitting the paper, or it is into the paper, it is leaving the paper, or it is into the paper, but basically it is perpendicular, normal to the paper. In this case, it is normal to the screen where you are watching the video. Hope that is very clear. Okay, so this is the direction. Yeah. Now this is only dH vector. I need to find magnetic field intensity at P due to the entire conductor. Due to the entire conductor, I can write it as H vector, which is nothing but integral of dH vector. So integral of dH vector will give me H vector. So if I integrate this over the length of the conductor, then I will get the total magnetic field intensity at a point P. So I have to just integrate this equation. Okay, either any, you can use either this form or this form. Okay, so generally we write this form. So dl cross ar cap divided by 4 pi r square. If I integrate this, I will get the total electric field intensity at a point P due to the entire conductor. And remember that unit of magnetic field intensity is ampere per meter. Ampere per meter. So we call this as integral form of Biot-Savart's law. That way also. Okay. Now you can consider 2 points. Okay, in the sense along the length of the conductor, one side of the conductor is A, the other side of the conductor is B, or one side of the conductor is 1, the other side of the conductor is 2. Keeping this in mind, you can represent this using R12 square. Okay, AR12 if you want to represent, doesn't matter. Okay, I just told that because you should not confuse while seeing such way of representing in textbooks if you are reading it. Okay, so basically this is a simple form of integral form of Biot-Savart's law. So I hope how to find magnetic field intensity at a point around a conductor where magnetic field is existing due to the current flowing in that conductor can be easily calculated mathematically by using this equation. Thank you for watching.